All right, bear with me. Um, it's a little bit confusing, but I'm just going to talk about the fighting as if it's one-on-one. Obviously, things get more complicated when you're fighting multiple jellies or you're in a room with clone tanks, and instead of defending yourself against an attack, you want to take an advantage and kick a clone tank and try to destroy it. There's a bunch of variations, but I'll show you how a basic battle goes, and you can take it from there. So in our example right here, let's pretend that the Clone Master isn't in the room. I just want to do a basic one-on-one. So we have our Rising Dream versus Jelly number 10. If we look at Jelly 10's record sheet, Jelly 10 has 3 options available to him. One is the Iron Fist, one is the Lightning Kick, and one is the Body of Mist. For this example, or not for this example, when a Jelly is in a fight, a Jelly gets to choose 2 actions and or defenses depending on the choices. So for this one, the Jelly is going to choose the Fist and the Lightning Foot. So we'll grab this and we'll grab that. So obviously, if you were playing against another player, your choices would be kept secret. You don't want to telegraph what you've chosen. Now for Rising Dream, let's take a look at our sheet here again. So again, just a reminder, Rising Dream has 2 Iron Fists, 1 Lightning Kick, 1 Monkey Soul, and 2 Body of Mists. And again, we're just ignoring the Mountain Hearts for now. That'll come into play in a little bit. Terminators get to go into battle with 3 options. Now, because he's got 2 fists and 2 mists, if I wanted, I could take 2 mists and 1 of something else, or 2 fists and 1 of something else, or I can take 1 of each. It depends on what you want. So for this example, let's try to do, let's do a fist, a lightning, and let's try a mist. So a fist, a lightning, and a mist. So there's the layout of our battle right here. There's the layout of our fight. Now, the Terminator gets to choose who attacks first. For this example, the Terminator has decided to let the Jelly attack first. So let's slide these over here. The Jelly decides to start the attack off with a Lightning Fist, and the focus is going to be there. The Terminator has decided to go with an Iron Fist versus a Lightning Kick, right? Is that what it's called? Lightning Foot. Iron Fist versus Lightning Foot. So if we go to our combat results table, fist versus a foot means that on a 1, a 2, or a 3, the Jelly has done us damage. Let's say that the Jelly rolled a 5. No damage has happened. Now, it's the Terminator's turn to respond with this one. He doesn't get to choose another one. This is basically setting up the fight. So he's attacking with the punch, and it was unsuccessful. Now he's defending with a kick. But because that has already been expended, our Jelly has to come up with a different defense, and that brings in now his Lightning Foot. So it's Lightning Foot versus Lightning Foot. So Lightning Foot versus Lightning Foot is a 1, 2, or a 3. And let's say that we rolled the mighty 1. That means that our Jelly has taken a hit. So when you take a hit, if we're looking at Jelly 10, when you take a hit, that means that you cross out any one of your options. So let's say, and it can be anyone, even if you don't have it in play right now. That just means that you're down to 2 options for the rest of the game. Once you've been defeated and you have no more options, that means that I believe if you have no more options, that means that you're unconscious. There needs to be 1 more attack before you're killed, is I think the way that rule goes. So this brings us to the Jelly's Lightning Foot, and I'm going to respond with a Body of Mist. So a Lightning Foot versus a Body of Mist. He has to roll a 1. Anything else, he's completely missed me. So let's say that he got damn lucky and nailed me with a 1. Same thing for me. I get to choose which I'm going to cross off. In this example, this is where the hearts may come into play. I may choose to make that a 0 instead of taking off one of my attacks or defenses, because you obviously want to keep as many attack and defense as you can. As I believe I mentioned before, when you take off a Mountain Heart, on the next game turn, there's a die roll that you can make. I believe it's if you get a 1 or a 2, you can gain the heart back. Because I started the game with 1, I can never go higher than 1. So I will have an opportunity to gain that back. It's a good thing to have. I'm actually thinking that if I play this again, I would have 2 hearts. I'd sacrifice one of the attacks to have 2 hearts. That's the way that goes there. So to finish up this fight, it's now the Terminator's turn to attack. You can't attack with a defense, so that means he brings in his fist. The Jelly has nothing, so now we go to the fist versus helpless, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And let's say there's a 3 roll. That would mean that the Jelly would cross out 1 more of his items. When you lose these abilities, unlike the hearts, you don't get to gain these back. I believe it's the same with the weapons. Once you've used a weapon and you've crossed it off, you don't get it back. It's not like you can just go to another room and pick up some more weapons. So this would cross off another one. He'd probably maybe cross off his defense and keep at least 1 attack so he can attack and defend himself. And that would be the end of that combat phase. That's the way that it runs. Now, in this example again that we had here, because my movement is 5, I don't have to, because he's kind of in my zone, it's 1 hex away or 1 square away, I don't have to fight him. I can just run right by him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and around the corner. The thing is, though, he has a 5 as well, which means that he could chase after me. But you don't have to get into an attack. You don't have to get into a fighting situation. Now, some of the Jellies, as I said before, have weapons with them. If that's the case, as long as they have line of sight, they can be 2 spaces away from you, and they can attack you. You can't attack them because they're not side by side. As I said, the Terminators never carry weapons, and again, has to be line of sight. So he may have, it may be this situation right here. They're 1 space away, but he's in a different room, so he can't see him to make that attack, which makes sense, I imagine, if anybody is used to wargaming and that sort of thing. So that's the very basics of the game. I hope that made sense. I think it's a very cool game. What else should I tell you about? Terminator move, combat phase, Terminator move, clone move. Oh, see, there you go. So you do have 2 chances to get away to gain some distance from the clones. And then there's a combat 2. There's a recovery phase, which I didn't talk about. I think it's in that recovery phase where you do your die roll to get your heart back. And then the final phase of the game turn is advance the game turn, which would go to 2. So it goes pretty quick, but there is 2 opportunities for your Terminator to move. And if they're moving 5 spaces each turn, you can really gain some ground running through this building. As far as penalties go, there's no penalty on movement. You always have your max movement available. That would be something, I'm sure there's a variant around there somewhere where the weaker you are, maybe you knock down one of your movement or knock down 2 of your movements so you can't run away as fast because now you've gotten the shit kicked out of you a number of times. But there we have it. That is Kung Fu 2100. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you.